Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Trekking Across the Universe. Today is January 31st, 2026. What a wonderful day as we end the month of January, kicking off 2026. Star Trek is back. We're going to be going over the fourth episode right now in a moment, and I want to welcome my co-host. You know who I am. I'm Roger, and I hope the video is correct. Greg is to my right. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well tonight. Staying warm in the Northeast U.S.
You're other right.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you are. I'm 76 degrees here, 82 degrees outside, so it's all good. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm cold too, but hey, it could be worse.
Yes, it could be. Could have been like Texas several years ago. And speaking of, how you doing, Don?
Howdy.
Glad
Doing
you joined us.
good. Trying to stay warm.
Oh, is it cold down there in the Lone Star?
It's about to be the coldest it's been so far this winter. So,
well, I'll take my 76 degrees. Or no, 82 outside again. Aaron from the land of tomorrow, crossing the rift. How you doing?
Hello, it's very warm here. It's 9 o'clock and 24 Celsius. So I think that's like 70 something Fahrenheit. For 9 o'clock in the morning, that's rather warm. So
I'll trade you.
I'll trade you too.
We're 20 something Fahrenheit.
right.
Yeah, I have great weather today. Aaron has great weather tomorrow. So it's kind of cool. But folks, as I mentioned, we're going to be going over the episode right now, episode 4. I believe it was entitled
Vox and Excelso.
Yes. Where are my... Oh my goodness, I'm having trouble reaching my notes. But anyway, yes, it was written by Gaia Violo and Eric Anthony Glover, directed by Doug Arnikoski, and I apologize for butchering the name. But I didn't get the star date, but as soon as you can. And Greg, if you can give me the runtime, I did not do that. And we'll get that information to you.
It was like 55 minutes, I think. I didn't note it exactly.
And that's cool. It's appreciated. Just so we can get going right now. Well, folks, I want to go ahead and start off with Aaron this time. Tell me, let's get the conversation going. Then maybe Don, Michael, and Greg, and I'll go last on our opening thoughts.
Okay, so I didn't enjoy this one. This is the first one I haven't really connected with for some reason. I just found personally the story was a bit pedestrian for me. It was very obvious, I think, as to we have to speak to the Klingons in their own language. I just feel like that type of story is like a Discovery era. Like the first episode of Discovery, it was like, you have to hit the Klingons with the same force or whatever. And I just felt like we're this far in the future and we're still having to do the obvious thing. Like we just don't get these people's culture. And so, I'm really sad to say, but I just didn't connect with it.
Don.
Oh, Don. I thought you said darn. My bad.
No, I'm not willing to swear at you just yet.
Give him 10 minutes.
Okay, well,
7.
You know what? I'm going to somewhat agree with Aaron. Again, this one was another on the border for me. However, my list of dislikes is fairly complex this go round. So much more than any episode so far. There were some high points. The episode wasn't horrible. I think it was lazy. That's the number one thing. We can dig more into this once you kind of go around. I don't want to take up too much time because I got quite a bit to probably say. But yeah, I think overall it was just really lazy and disappointing seeing what's coming out of this group right now.
Thank you, Don. Before I go to Michael, I want to welcome everyone in the chat room. Please let us know who you are and where you hail from. and we would love to acknowledge our motley crew of cadets right now. Michael, please go ahead.
Well, I mean, I actually enjoyed this episode. Why I have such a different view of everybody, I don't know. But yes, the story was not complex, but you know what? I was in the mood this weekend for non-complex after dealing with 2 inches of ice and all that other stuff and almost falling down several times on the ice this week. So I was happy just to have something light and, I didn't have to think much about personally. So that's my little.
I appreciate that. Greg, go ahead.
Okay, so first, I wanted to note that Vox and Excelso translates to voice on high, or upper voice, or higher voice, however you wish to interpret the Latin. So I thought it was kind of ironic because Jaden's voice is very, very deep, and yeah, I mean, there were good scenes, but it's like they had 3 ideas on how to do a Jaden background story, and they did all of them, and then threw in the whole college debate thing on top of it. So, on the second rewatch, it's like I was actually realizing why I was confused on the first rewatch about where this episode was going. And I'm just going to echo that lazy statement. I'm just not understanding how a college situation puts these people at the front of all these things that are going on. And I'll save my comments about the climax and denouement for after, because that was just like, how did they not gift it to them?
Thank you, Greg. Well, and thank you, everyone, because I appreciate your opinions. Because I will admit, I am I am somewhere else right now. When I tried watching the first episode, I actually had a moment where all of a sudden I opened my eyes and it was the end credits. Like, oh my God. I didn't fall asleep 3 minutes in. I fell asleep 3 seconds in. So I had to watch it again. And it was earlier today. And I'm not necessarily lost, but I was confused with the episode. And I appreciate what you guys said before me. Aaron, it was lazy in some ways. It was about treating the Klingons. I mean, this is 900 years later. This is a warrior race. I did appreciate, and maybe now going against that, I did appreciate understanding what happened, that there's a ramification to, what the Klingons did. This actually takes us back to the undiscovered country, Praxis, and all the ramifications. That was actually a nice, good tie-in. The character, Zhadan, he was a bright spot in this episode, I felt. And knowing that he does that voice, that's all him. And this is, I know I say kid, but I think this kid's going places. It really worked. And I appreciated when I need help from all of you. I don't remember their names, but when the English kid came in to talk to him, that was cool. That stood out for me. I know it's odd that you would have someone outside of your culture to remind you, but it was from an older culture as well. So it wasn't bad. And maybe I'm going a little too far in my opening statement, but there were things that I definitely disliked. And I don't think I've had that feeling yet of any of the episodes. So I did like the debates. And our star, the young man, I mean, this kid, he can name every statute in the Constitution of the Federation. I mean, hey, kindred spirit. Not that I can, but he knows quite a bit. I did appreciate having the view of the kids commenting on intergalactic situations. It was wonderful seeing the Doctor again, but I this I guess I was hoping for an emotional adventure and it did not happen. Or maybe I'm overcome with my emotions. Gentlemen, I am confused today and I apologize. I am genuinely out somewhere else. And for the audience, I'll just make it quick. I love and appreciate my co-hosts. I admire their support and everything, both online and now, and it keeps getting worse. So I am somewhere else. First it was just the temperature, then she was yellow, and then the liver, pancreas. Now she's in quarantine. Yeah. This is a sucky Star Trek episode, and I need a holographic Doctor right now, and I'm not joking. But she's in good spirits. Come on, man! I'm not trying to make a joke, but you see where I'm at? It's like, oh.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
I don't know.
Or don't. You don't have to.
Don't, yeah. So I'm sorry for bringing the personal stuff in here, but I folks, I'm where I'm at. So I apologize. So if I'm all over the place, just tell me to leave. And I'll go. So, Greg, you want to get to, you muted yourself. Go for, you know what? Greg, I want to direct this at you. There was another part, not necessarily near the end, but I was confused what he was trying to put together. It didn't connect.
Okay.
Figuratively. But when he puts it together at the end, that was kind of neat. That was kind of cool because we saw the Delta shield there. I'm not going to say it was an emotional theme, but it clicked. That part of it did. I don't know. I don't know if that's what you wanted.
That was one of the all of the personal interactions with Jaden were some of the better moments in the show.
Oh yeah.
The writing there was really good. It's like I would have been happy if they just did the backstory thing with him reflecting on after the accident and expanded that out. But they didn't, and they made him. I think they made the episode messy.
Well, there's only one way they could get the episode to work, honestly, and that was with the interaction of the captain and a certain other Klingon we got introduced to. Correct?
Yeah, and that was another really good.
That's the down. No, that's
scene.
the down part. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's one of my down parts.
Oh, really? See, I thought the interaction between them was awesome.
No, I'm not saying that the interaction that they had, like the getting drunk, throwing it down, talking about their past, I'm not saying that was bad. I'm saying shoehorning that character in there with her like that, so that all of a sudden the leader of the Klingon Empire could be present so that the story could actually have a conclusion and ending that they wanted. That's the problem.
Yeah,
and it felt
and that's
forced.
Yeah, the whole episode.
They didn't even allude to it earlier. He just boom is there, and that is what makes me so angry about this episode. And I think from that point forward, I could see exactly where it was going. I knew exactly how it was going to end. I knew what was coming from that point forward.
Definitely.
Especially once they said that they weren't going to accept the planet from them.
Charity.
I knew that there was going to be a fake battle and there was going to be some sort of kowtowing to the Klingons to not bruise their honor, but at the same time they would do it in a way that made the Klingons look stupid and unintelligent.
Yeah, that's why I said it's like, okay, so how was that not? I mean, if it was a play battle, I mean that's almost just as bad. So
intentionally
missing.
Yeah. What could have been an amazing introduction of this this season and era's Klingon leader
Right.
ended up just turning into a lazy writer shoehorn to fill their plot or in their plot. And it took away from the story, I think, more than it added onto it.
Yeah,
And
it's
matter
my
of fact,
biggest problem with this series is how, so there's so few leaders involved here. They could have these events be tangential to the kids' stories. Not, it just doesn't make sense. It'd be like the University of Southern Maine, where I attended college, getting involved in the state government all the time.
The ship's already out there on their first cruise. Why couldn't they just have happened into this Klingon leader or the ship that was having the problem, and then your entire story would have taken a believable and not forced trajectory.
Exactly.
But I think one of my biggest bitches, I'm going to say it, sorry for the word. I'm an amateur, but I've been writing Star Trek stories and scripts for well over 20 years. That's the what they have been doing with these scripts and these stories is not clever. It's not creative. It's frankly lazy and something I would expect from somebody just starting to learn how to role play in a play by email, what we used to call them, Star Trek adventure. It's and you're making power plays that don't even really add to the story. So, sorry.
First off, don't be sorry. Thank God the dog stopped barking. It was a roar right now. Michael, Aaron, by all means, join in on that. Michael, do you have some thoughts on that?
No, not right now. No.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's a good summation of it. It's almost like, again, we don't know who the audience is. Are we trying to sell this show to people that haven't seen Star Trek before? And the basicness of the story is because we're introducing a new audience to the Klingon characters, etc. But this probably wasn't the way to do it. It makes them look really boring. What about fans of the show that you're supposed to be also targeting? It didn't add anything to this world. It didn't expand anything. One of the really disappointing parts was disappointed in is in the flashbacks, the Klingon culture and the planet that he was on. Nothing was remarkable about that. It felt like they went on location somewhere and filmed with like 4 people, and that was it. There wasn't any.
It could have been in my backyard.
Yeah, and I walked away from it thinking, honestly, you should never watch anything thinking, I could have done that. I could have literally done that.
You could have.
And yeah, apart from the prosthetics, probably could have found those. I didn't need lots of production design. It was a minimal crew, minimal actors. I literally could have done that, and a bit of stock footage of a bird flying, done. And that was so disappointing. And I think for such a visual culture, to see it portrayed that way was so sad. And I get that they're supposed to be refugees and their findings, but there was nothing. It was like a bad Greek play where they're like, we've gone to this massive marketplace and there's all these things there, but it happened off screen over there. And like that would have been an interesting part to see the Klingons surviving in some sort of multicultural slum or something like that. But instead it was on a hill somewhere else, and it just
Klingons in the
really
Garden of
boring.
Eden is what it looked like.
And there wasn't even a garden. Everything was dead. Like, it was awesome. But yeah, it just I don't know why, but it just that was not a good choice and not a good way to not only reintroduce the Klingons in this context, but also introduce them to new people.
And also, we have another planet where the atmosphere mutes everybody's colors. Not, doesn't add like red or green. It just mutes them.
Well, we muted the Klingon culture and and entire civilization as well. That's just one more that is on the brink of, in this new world, extinction.
Maybe it was artistic brilliance. Maybe that's what they were saying.
It's certainly not an
if
optimistic portrayal of the future here. We're not in
if
happy
anybody was
times.
going to survive in this harsh future, you would think it would be the Klingons, and they would be the raiders, not all these other raiders who ended up big shots, bigger than the big governments in the area.
Yeah, that did get on me as well. We're looking at these Klingons. I understand they explained how we got to where the Klingons are, and it was disappointing seeing them. I didn't appreciate how they were being treated narratively. When they left their son, I was shocked. But the Romulans in one episode with Geordi said, "You're defective. We would have ended you at birth." So I guess the Klingons might be not unlike that. But when we find out when Husk, it's her, right? The first officer, when she tells him that I should have been a mentor. And she actually describes or explains to him why he was left. I did appreciate that. I got that. But this kid was already 17, 18. He didn't all of a sudden start expressing his colors. So,
right?
Yeah, I mean, Michael, you were an educator of children. When do the kids start showing their colors, right?
5 years old.
Yeah. So, okay. For them to have expected him to all of a sudden not join the hunt, But again, near the end, when she explains to him, he sets you free. I'm like, okay. All right. We have enlightened Klingons. These are the broken bow Vulcans. You have enlightened Vulcans. I guess some do happen. I don't know.
Well, we've seen some Klingons who weren't quite Klingon in the past, even in Next Generation age. So I can kind of buy it, and I appreciated the story with the brother. I thought that was really cool. That here's this big macho Klingon brother accepting his not so Klingon brother as his brother. It kind of gave me an LGBTQ story vibe.
I wonder.
Yeah, it was very allegory to many things. Yeah,
and that's the other thing that I found very confusing. I wasn't sure what they were trying to make a statement about.
Yeah, and also it didn't help that when Thok explained it, that was like like if you're using it as an allegory, things happen in people's lives where they get left behind or abandoned by their family. But then, so if you're going to say that, great, that's relatable to many people's experience. But then to have someone explain it in a way that could be like, oh, but they've abandoned you because they were setting you free. It's like, okay, that's where that allegory has to end there, because that's not it.
Right? They're putting like Klingon sensibilities onto something that they're maybe trying to reflect of our current, social issues, and it's like, it doesn't mash.
Every culture was supposed to be back in the day like a representation of another culture, not trying to take one culture and cram it into everybody, or make points of our culture from every encounter with every species.
The Klingons evolved into this pseudo hybrid of like ancient feudal Japan and Viking type sentiments. It's like it became, something completely different than
Right.
something
They said
literary.
he was a triad. His family was a triad, right? There
that
you go.
was interesting.
So I
And they
guess maybe
glossed over
Chinese,
it.
Japanese, and we didn't learn what that actually was instead of being part of a Klingon house. And apparently there's only 8 houses left and not very many Klingons alive. But they had enough ships to take on a Starfleet, go toe-to-toe with power at about 1%.
They said it was an armada. I mean, was it an armada of those freighters and transports? I mean, I saw a Katinga in there. I mean, and the Nekvar type style.
And a Borcha one there. Or,
yeah,
is that with it? Whatever. Some of them look so similar. I forget the names. Well, hey, here's a bright point on the Starfleet ships. The USS Riker. How about that?
I thought that was a nice homage.
I just hope it's not the one I think that it was, because that fat, stubby looking rundown thing that looked kind of like a deformed Starfleet Delta showed up right about the time that they said USS Riker, and I'm hoping that's not it.
The ship design in this, at the end of Discovery and in this series, is I'm not even trying anymore. When the saucer took off by itself
at warp,
it's like all I could think of was the old animated episode Bem, where the not Patagonian, but it sounded like Patagonian, where the alien could separate into all these pieces.
Trying to find some good points, because I don't want to just be down on. Oh, the Doctor once again had some good little jabs in there. I still think that
Don, sorry to interrupt you. The very beginning, where after she gives her speech, he starts quizzing them, the little zygotes. How many of you actually read? And she answered the thing about Judge Aaron Satie, one of the greatest minds. And then he uses the swear word. This is chicken. I think it was chicken shit. And then the student brought up something that we were talking about on another program. Is it appropriate for you to use such language? And the doctor said, dude, I have been alive longer than you can even imagine. I have earned the right to say what I want and however. And maybe one day you will. But then he used the Klingon phrase, alas, that day is not today. It was a nice little play on today is a good day to die. I did appreciate that. You're right, Donald. The holographic doctor, there's a lot to like from him.
And I finally found something that I can understand about with Caleb and kind of compare with. He's a master debater.
I thought that was funny. It was an eye roller, but it was a
it was not roller,
thing.
but it was kind of good.
Yeah, it was a teenage thing to say. We've all done it. Or said something like that, rather.
I think all the good parts came in class this time, I think, for the most part. Almost. The opening was very good too. The cinematic style of the opening, like how we went from the ships. It's been the same ships, but then they did, like in Klingon, the CBS production, and then it morphed into English with the nebula behind the pictures, then went into the nebula and then into the ship. And it's also good knowing that Starship Bridges is unsafe, and one power loss or ship captain ramming an insane Romulan Predator clone, as they always have been, away from flying through the view screen. I mean, that thing was open to space.
Yeah, well, we got that from the J.J. Abrams verse, right? Where they have that big transparent aluminum, and yeah, I never thought there would be an open window. I mean, don't you think that a window like that, all you would see was just black? You really
Well,
wouldn't see any stars because of
the
the
bridge
ambient
always being on
light.
top has never made sense. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah. So having the light out there and you can see the stars. Well, for those of you that believe that we landed on the moon, we know why we can't see the stars because of the ambient light. But that's neither here nor there. Is Michael prepared to argue with me that we did not land on the moon? I think we did, right, Michael?
I think we did, but there's a
Yeah.
lot
It's
of
on a
people out there that
soundstage.
don't think so.
There's
Yeah.
no reason to say we didn't. And was it the Chinese or the Japanese? Somebody took pictures of the landing sites recently.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. They did. I remember I did see that. Unless those were fake too, It's like,
Yeah, everything's fake because how can it happen if the moon is or if the earth is flat? But anyway, we don't believe any of that right here. It's all good. I mean, how could we, especially with the time differences that all of us have? But that's neither here nor there. Um,
it's all in our
I'm
minds.
yeah, I'm trying to think of some other items in here, but all of you covered it for me. This kid, though, and I'm sorry that I don't know his name. They gave him some meat, and he responded. Now, whether you like the flavor of meat, that's really up to you. But gentlemen, hearing the whole idea of the allegory, there are times that I'm blind and I missed it, and I appreciate that. But I also appreciate your commentary about said allegory. Yeah, dude, that's not a good way of saying it. Hey,
Well, the other
well,
part of it was the diaspora. It's like, okay, so which displaced peoples are they like trying to talk about? What situation is current that this fits? And I couldn't. I mean, unfortunately, there's so many problems out there. It's like I couldn't. The only thing I could think of would be the Somalian population and the attacks against Islam in the United States presently. But other than that, well, not actual physical attacks, but the rhetorical attacks. The Other than that, I want this show to do science fiction, and I'm not getting it.
there was almost nothing. Yeah. Oh, and what was the deal with Sam's debate? I did not get that. And they were like celebrating that she scored a win, and I was trying to listen to it.
I think they cut it. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
I was thinking.
I think I missed it because they were doing like just little clips of different.
I just think they cut whatever she said that was so important. I don't even think they showed it on air. I really don't.
That's fair.
Because if it's what I heard, it's like, oh,
you want based on that? Yeah, I agree, Michael.
Well, the comment before they said, they declared her winner was where she rebutted that the Organian peace treaty was superseded by the Khitomer Accords. Because the argument was that the Organian peace treaty had failed.
Now,
I did like the argument that Starfleet shouldn't try to supersede Klingon culture. I did like that. That was a very strong debate right there when he stood up and started saying you shouldn't be imposing your will on us. You should let Klingons be Klingons. Then again, we kind of already diluted earlier in the episode what it meant to be Klingon. So
help me out, guys. Are the Klingons still a... Oh, okay. Well, I think I answered my own question. Are they still a member world? Oops.
No.
An ally.
No.
You mean an ally?
Well, yeah, an ally, because you have to have a member world, and I guess they don't have one anymore. But they're still allies, right?
No.
I don't
think so. I think it's.
No.
I think
pretty
they're
sure they say
neither
in the
ally
episode,
nor
yeah.
enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. Nor ally nor enemy. Okay, that's fair enough. Look, when they did what they did in Star Trek 2009, the destruction of the Romulan world, I was like, wow. I was bummed because the Romulans were really cool. But now we see in the distant future, they're no longer there. I was a bit disappointed by that. And now we see the takedown of the Klingons as well. Look, I get it. There's thousands and thousands of races. But, you know, one of the greatest moments, okay, you can all argue with me, but one of the greatest moments that I ever remember of a Klingon is when they're storming through the battle, Sacrifice of Angels, and they finally show up. You know, the Klingon fleet. And the poet in me or whatever, when you look back on the scene, I've talked about this. Don, you weren't here. Greg, I think you were, but Michael and Aaron, I've talked about the imagery. The Klingons, if you look again, they're coming from out of the sun, you know, coming down on the fleet. It was a classic, incredible moment. These are the Klingons that are honorable, and they realize, you know what, we better get involved. These are still our allies. And now there was like that guy said something about, well, the Federation. It again, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And my notes are messed up. He said something about we don't owe anything to the Federation. I said, well, yeah, you do.
You kind of do.
Yeah. You know, there was the president's speech in the undiscovered country. Yeah, you do just a little bit. But it wasn't right. You do. You owe a little bit. And it was dismissed there. And I was a little agitated by that. But
I would also expect, however, some evolution, right? Because I mean, you know, think of what 400 years ago Europe looked like. You know, French, Spanish, and English were always fighting each other. You know, if the conquistadors were still conquistadors today, it would be a much different planet.
Well, you know, there was one piece of evolution, and one that I'm not too happy about, I guess. I don't know why it rubbed me wrong, but it really did. That Kalis, or Kalesh, as they are, as apparently he's now called, is no longer more a religious figure. It's
a myth.
A myth.
A myth.
It's a mythical figure. So, and apparently Klingon culture is centered around mythologies, as we heard directly from their own mouth. So it's not just Kalis, but you know, their entire culture was brought up around myths.
thank you, Don. I did miss that in my recap.
Yeah. They started that weird pronunciation in Discovery where Konos is Konosh.
Oh,
and,
yeah, no.
And Kalash is Kalash. Kalash.
How many people are fluent in Klingon that are Trekkies? You know, what gives you the right to change the pronunciation? I'm sorry.
I must say that I looked that up because obviously that was very glaring in this episode. And apparently, according to the original creator, that's how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah.
So.
But there was a superseding rule in The Next Generation, in which I believe carried it over, that if you read the script and you
the first person,
it pervades.
I do that.
Yes.
I do that with my films as well. If I invent like a word, the first person that says it that's how.
That's the way it is. Yes, that is cool that we all know that. I mean, so going back, and I don't want to lose this train of thought. The thing about the glow bugs, you know, the treaty, they in the lore of Star Trek, they just disappeared.
Wait,
so the treaty,
who are we talking about?
The glow bugs.
The Organians?
The Organians.
Yeah. You see,
well, they're cloaked. They're just far more advanced. You're talking about the First Federation.
But that's what they were called in several of the lore books and everything. The Klingons referred to them as the glow bugs. That was a good epithet. I like that. But it's like they disappeared. They went away. And then we got the Khitomer Accords. So I just wanted to add that when we were talking about it. And of course, I confused the situation. I want to give a shout out. Thank you for the like. Andrew J. Lucas. Appreciate it. We have a West Coastie with us. Thanks for sharing. Andrew, if you're still with us, why don't you drop some comments in the chat room? Thank you. Like to know what you think of the episode, please. So, yeah, I ruined the vibe of the episode.
Okay, so there was something I think I either missed or I didn't understand or I heard incorrectly. Maybe you guys can clear this up for me. When Caleb and God, what's this Klingon guy's name? Jaden.
Jaden. Yeah, Jaden.
Wait a second. I have a cousin named Jaden. How is it?
He is Jaden.
Okay,
or Jaden.
Okay, what? We'll just call him Jaden. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, after
Greg called him that first, so that's what we're doing.
So, after the first round of debates, when they were sitting on the floor and the Klingon was talking about how he doesn't like to speak in public and all this, was a claim made there that Caleb reprogrammed the doctor so that the doctor would be agreeable to his arguments?
Only thing I heard Caleb reprogrammed was the little robot to give him lunch. That's the only thing I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing things and misheard it, because it really sounded there for a second like they were talking about reprogramming the doctor so that he didn't question Caleb's arguments, and if Caleb's arguments were all factual.
Oh, I did not.
I didn't hear anything like that, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. Anybody
Again,
out there?
if it was there, they didn't go into detail. They just said those two things.
So, since the doctor is a sentient being, did the doctor get violated right now by that? Yeah. I just want to know, does the doctor still have his family? Voyager, come on. Does he still have them?
Do we want to email Robert Picardo and ask him?
That'd be cool. He's probably been asked. Do you still have your family? That's all I want to know.
In the first episode, they mentioned something about I think it was about the Proteus crew. It's like he got really defensive really quick about something.
Yeah.
We're probably going to find out about that. We all talked about in episode 1. There was so much set up in episode 1 that they're going to come back to all of it. But maybe that's just the experience of the character, that smart writers deliberately put those things in there that they may come back to later. Boy, Michael,
that's the key right there. They may come back to it.
Yeah.
That's the point. They either go too long with not getting to it, or they just dump it all in there and it's like a car wreck.
We had
Let's find a middle ground.
Yeah. I think Michael remembers we had a particular author, or a scriptwriter on the arc who told us that, oh yeah, there are other arcs out there that launched after. And he told us that opens up storylines for us in the following seasons. So, yeah.
And it did. Yeah.
Writers. Yeah, by the way, it did. You're right. So, I wonder if they're going to get back to it. I do appreciate the doctor referring to everyone as little zygotes. I think that is really kind of funny. He has shown
even the Digital Dean mentioned it too.
That's right.
I don't remember if it was this one or last week, but I remember catching Stephen Colbert saying something about zygotes.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. All right. That's cool. What else, gentlemen? Gents?
Even though it wasn't my favorite, I think there's a couple things that after this conversation, I'm realizing that they either spliced up a bunch of stuff and cut some stuff out, or there's just a lot of little quirks that aren't adding up to me right now. I really need to go back and watch it again, try and pay attention. Maybe there's more that I missed, because once my brain kind of said, okay, this just feels like throwing it against the wall. I probably didn't pay close enough attention.
Well, Don, we alluded to this, and I think I spoke to Aaron about this, is that Tilly Where is Tilly? They led us to believe that she was a starring role in this. And they set it up in Discovery that she was going to be a trainer. It was going to be a significant, it was implied bigly that she was going to be coming in. Who knows? Maybe it was something like on Voyager, 3 days in, like, oops, we made a change and they brought someone else in. I don't know.
Well, they
But-
had somebody else cast as number one because there was somebody else listed in IMDb. So they
That's
had the
right.
Laura Thought character and a number one listed.
They've made changes. Don, maybe that's what it is. They're making changes on the fly on this one. And if you think about when it was happening, this is when all the drama about whether we were looking at not the contract, but Paramount's actual survival.
Yeah.
So who knows what orders, which deck chairs were ordered to be moved around. You never know.
And didn't they announce it back when the actor strike was on? I can't
Yes.
remember when. Yeah.
Or was it the writer's strike?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the writer strike. Sorry. Well, it could
I
be
think
both.
the writers might
Could
still
be
be on
both.
strike, but
or they're what do they call it? Quiet quitting.
Mhm.
Honestly, if you ask me, this episode was not about the things we've talked about that were detracted on. It seems like the new Klingon culture and Jaden's story and all were the center, but really, I think the main center of this was debating. And honestly, had they focused more on debating, I think it would have been a really interesting episode. If they had debated more topics of things that are going on right now, I think that could have been really interesting.
Like I said,
Yes.
there was 3 different things going on in the show, and none of them won.
Wow. Yeah, I cannot agree more on that. The debating was good. All of them. Everyone that took this. There were the young lady, I don't know what her name was, she debated. It was good. Excellent actress. And I wish they would have done that more. It could have been almost like a Data's Day episode. The debate could have been like the monologue about the stuff happening on the side.
Absolutely.
You know?
You could have done flashbacks to all the things going on in there too to fill it out. And that could have been a really entertaining and really progressive move for the series, because then you have all these little arcs to go in that you really could have elaborated on.
Yep.
Michael, I'm sorry if you're a little on the quiet side. I know you told me early on, I think it was on Friday morning, you said, hey, I asked you, have you seen the episode? You said yes. And it was a very friendly, I think you're going to like it too.
Yeah, and then no one likes it except for me. Yeah.
Well, no,
What did you like about it?
please, yes.
Well,
Come
I'm
on.
just saying, it was just calm, and that's what I needed. See, that's what I needed
You
for my
did
personal
say that. Yes.
Yeah. I needed something calm, not anything crazy, and I had to think about. That's why I liked it, honestly. I said that at the beginning because it's not been a fun week. It's not. So.
Oh.
Well, no, I never said that I disliked it. I just said that I had a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
And really, it was the writing is my biggest problem right now. And maybe, you know what? Shoot me dead. It may not even be the writing. I may be hating on some genius writer in there who just had his script mangled apart by
Editing.
the
Which
people
happened
that
too,
really
yeah.
shouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking like I know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but this is what it comes across as. And this is how I think it's keeping from being a great Star Trek show. It has the makings to be a great Star Trek show. But every week I'm having to come back just with this list of why this, why this, why this.
Right.
And
I'm
not
also
necessarily
extra
that everything's
critical because
bad.
of yeah. I'm also extra critical because of the number of episodes in a run. If this was Next Generation and we had a full 26 episode season, yeah, I can forgive the dogs. but when now it's like I only kind of liked I really liked 1 out of 4, and I didn't like 2 out of 4.
Oh wow.
Well,
Yeah.
you're
I mean, I
you're
didn't
also on
hate
a
the
streaming
last
platform.
one. I didn't hate the last one, but this one, like somebody said, one of you guys last week said last week's was your least favorite. I'm like, geez, I wonder if this is gonna like push that one down. Because yeah, I mean, I agree. Last week was my least favorite of the 3, and now this week's my least favorite of the 4. And
Yeah, you're on a streaming platform. Why the hell does it make a difference if you go 5 or 10 extra minutes and actually put in a little dialogue or lead into something a bit or allude to something and flesh it out a bit rather than just abruptly cutting to something you want to shove in there?
Yeah.
or get somebody that isn't familiar with the script in there to watch the final edit and say, what do you think?
Well, maybe you guys know better. I mean, it's not like they'd be worried about syndication. It's not like they'd be worried about it ending up on TV or something. So why would the time and having to cut and chop up these episodes matter so much?
Well, they're not even running it for what a network show minutes would be anyway. They're running
Yeah.
more than that.
For
They're
all
running
we
at
know,
least
they
another 10
dragged
plus
it out.
minutes.
They didn't want to do a 30-minute episode, and they threw all this other stuff in there.
Yeah. As trying to detach myself from everything, remembering what we said in the first 3, there's kind of like a hostility, and maybe that's not what I want to use, but there's an unhappiness with this episode. I don't believe it was a bad episode. Greg might argue with me. I don't know. But I do detect, outside of Michael, and Michael, I'm sorry. You did enjoy this one. This is kind of like okay, maybe I shouldn't use that one. You went for a drive, and I was gonna, use something else. You go to a range, and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted. That wasn't appropriate. You go for a drive. You expect the road to be empty and it's jammed with traffic.
Or you expect 2 lanes, and then because you're making a turn, and then it goes to 1 when you get to the other side of the road.
That's pretty good. So Michael and I are frustrated. That's our allegory right now. We're frustrated on moving forward.
To be fair though, like when I've looked online for different people's comments and reviews and things, and the majority of the reviews and comments that I've read are extremely positive for this episode. I've seen people say that this is the best episode of Star Trek and the best episode, a Klingon episode of Star Trek. So there are definitely people that like it and think that it is the best thing ever.
And not Greg.
And that is counter to maybe how we were feeling in the last 3 episodes, where people have said the negativity, the overwhelming negativity online is that this is crap, woke, whatever. So yeah, to see some of those people saying the opposite about this episode is
funny.
fascinating.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, I thought it had a lot of really well written, well directed scenes.
Yeah.
It's everything that came together around those scenes detracted. I thought, like, the opening monologue I thought was good and inspiring. The scene, the actual, even though I agree it didn't make sense how he got there, the scene between the general that was an old friend of the captain's, I thought the scene with the 2 of them getting crocked and then her showing up to the debate the next morning, and you hung over, they didn't say it, she was still crocked. And the kid that's usually a jerk, I thought his scene with Jaden was really good.
Yes.
Although it confused me a little bit because it started to feel almost romantic, and I wasn't sure if it was supposed to or not. And then but the one thing about that is the breathing reminded me of like drama and public speaking class, where you warm up before, and I'm like, couldn't they have just said it You warm up before you speak. You warm up your mouth and your vocal cords, and
Yeah, I've got to say, reflecting on it, especially hearing everyone's comments, I think it was either Greg or Donald that said at the start, all the school bits were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the writing and ironically, this is a show set in a school, and the school bits were the ones that were good. So maybe that's what we should stick to. But yeah, I think had this story run parallel to the sort of higher up Klingon versus Federation meeting run completely parallel but separate, and there was no crossover, and it just so happens, carrying on that theme from episode 2 of like the children being the activists and the children inheriting the future, it would have been good to see the reality playing over here and how that affected the classroom, but they'd be separate. But yeah,
Yep.
I think that all those moments in the school were good.
Michael.
put the refugee market on screen. Take the
Oh.
stuff that you wouldn't expect a school to be involved in off screen.
Michael, you enjoyed the episode, and this is not an attack, Michael. I want to understand. I think all of us had problem with the end, the way it was rolled. Were you good with it? Okay,
I expected it. I expected it, but I thought that's how it had to end, just because of the way the Klingons are. I mean, that's the way it had to end.
Now, let me postulate this. We know Star Trek, all of us. Are we judging Klingons of 900 years ago that they should still be the Klingons that we know? Is that possible? Is this Star Trek not made for us? Baloney. Of course it is. But are we so close that maybe we're missing the point? These Klingons, 900
They're
years
different.
later.
They're different.
Yeah. Don, you're looking to
Here's
jump
one-
in.
Yeah, sorry. Here's
No,
going to be my
go.
argument. I am all for that if you actually explain it right and not just throw little things in there like the mythology thing without, kind of contexting it, or telling us about this supposed triad thing and not telling us what it is or what it means, or throwing in that the Klingons are apparently having to leave their home world for a second time and find a new world without telling us why or what's happened. All the important pieces that make the Klingons who they are today, you kind of glossed over and just kind of shoved it in there just to say, well, yep, that's different.
They completely
Like that. Thank you.
sidestepped this one critical comment about all the dilithium reactors on Konosh blew up during the burn. I didn't even remember that the dilithium stuff exploded during the burn. I thought it just rendered them inert.
Oh no, it exploded.
Oh no, there was a big scene. It
They
might have happened
exploded.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah,
That starships just literally
blew
boom.
up while they were moving.
But you know what? Praxis blew up because of overmining dilithium. Doesn't this kind of sound a little too close to history repeating itself?
They're Klingons.
Wow, did they read their Shakespeare? Sorry, that was a bitchy setup. I'm sorry. Oh man,
There
But it
are
was-
still conspiracy theories about that. Did you know that back whenever Klingons looked like humans, that William Shakespeare actually was a Klingon stranded on Earth?
Well, everybody knows that, Don.
I like that,
It's the
man.
beard.
Hey, guys, there may be a story there somewhere. I'm surprised no one has touched that in the universe of fan films.
And the Anla Shock was paying attention to all of it.
No, we as Star Trek fans, we come up with all these wild stories to justify little things like that in Star Trek.
Oh God, yes.
And I'm sure after the dust settles here with Starfleet Academy and how these first couple of episodes have not exactly done things the way I would like them to, let's say, in the way that they present some of the stories or some of the changes or some of the backgrounds, that they're just kind of piecing little things together. I'm sure when the dust settles in a year or 2 or 5, we'll have our own little quirks like that to talk about this series, and we'll warm up to it more. And it's not that I'm not warmed up to it. It's not that I'm trying to hate on it. It's me trying to express where I think it could be great and better. And that right now, I think it might be just falling flat.
Yeah. You know, again, gentlemen, we've been generally positive, but what distinguishes us from everyone else is I think we do share. This was not good. This was not good. But we don't say it sucks like the inanimate objects of the little kids that live in someone's basement. We tell you why we think it does. But there's never been an episode where Greg says this was wrong, where he doesn't say, but this was good. We all do that. And I've noticed that. Today, I just really detect that this was a significant... no, there was good in it. This was a misfire. Would you guys think that?
Yeah.
Would you classify it as not a significant misfire?
It was a disappointment, not a disaster.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's not as bad as Riker's clip show there back in the second season of Next Gen.
Yes, it could be so much worse. We have to remember that.
To steal a line from the Big Bang Theory. You promised not to talk about that, Greg.
Well, it's also not like the Next Generation episode where we had African American people dressed up as tribals and going after each other with weapons.
You know, I didn't realize how bad that really is. Man.
I didn't either until I heard them talking about it on some of those panels, and then I went back and went, "Oh."
I think the worst part of that is the fact that they knew that at the time and
still did it.
No one did anything about it. But then, you know, what we were talking about before about, you know, a network show versus a streaming show, that's a byproduct of that you have 26 or 24 or 22 spots to fill. And, you know, it's not like, I think as well, something that people forget is that when shows are commissioned, the scripts aren't ready. There might be a pilot. Right. There might be a series Bible or a brief, but no one's paying for someone to write a show before they got the money in the bank for it. So, you know, I can imagine having the show commissioned for ages, being in a writer's strike, not being able to do any work on it, legally not being able to do any work on it, and then getting to a point where you have to hit production. You've got all these deadlines where sets have to be built, costumes have to be done, you have to cast it, there's no rehearsals. You're in a writer's room, people get assigned stories, there's 10 spots, and then it has an air date. So I can imagine that is probably very chaotic. There are things that don't happen the way they should, and it's rushed and whatever. So I think on one hand, I can understand the pressures and the fact that it doesn't come out the way it does. Whereas, you know, in the streaming, in the sort of network world where you have to throw everything at the wall and everything has to stick because you've got to fill those slots. So, well,
I also don't think it was intentional. I don't think anybody intentionally did any of that. And just like we've come to realize now in this day and age, there's a lot of things that we didn't intend to be considered whatever you want, whatever label you want to put on it, 10 years ago. But people look at it now and say, well, it was. So, but I think you really need to come at what the intention is, and if the intention is there rather than this is this thing. And I think some shows, and I'll say Star Trek can be guilty of it at times. Some shows go out of their way to be non-offending or all-inclusive to the point that it might detract from the story itself.
Yes.
I'm the same way that
I think that's one of the greatest things about
Trek.
Trek.
Drama, right? Like it needs a conflict. It needs, something that people can relate to or see themselves in or whatever to be interesting and people to watch. So yeah.
Well, that's what makes sci-fi, safe. Because instead of saying, it's this refugee group, it's the Klingons. You're not tying it to anything familiar. Sometimes they go out of their way, and I think Discovery did it with the trans character, with the non-binary character, and she was like, they made that front and center, the whole pronoun thing. It wasn't, oh, by the way, it was, full screen, the two, and it's like the whole thing with Jaden's family having two dads. It's like, okay, big deal. Maybe mom's poly. I don't know.
Maybe that's what a triad family means.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like
That's
a
what I was
situation.
taking it to mean.
Or see, when I heard it, I was thinking triad is the replacement for the political house structure type deal. I was thinking criminal Chinese organization whenever I heard it. I wasn't thinking thruple. But at the same time, Star Trek's also been criticized for not going far enough. Back in Enterprise, people were pissed off because Trip and Tucker weren't romantically involved.
What?
Huh? When are we going to get our first gay character?
Why do we have to? Why couldn't he be on this? Is it relevant to his job? Is it relevant to his position on the ship? It's that guy.
I love the progressiveness of Star Trek. That's one of the things I love about it. But I also don't want to push it too far, and I don't want to get angry about it. I don't want it to become a fight. I want it to be intelligent, so that way it introduces it in a way that people would accept it better.
I think the way that
a
they
progressive
did
idea.
Jet and Laura, I think falls into that category. It's like, oh, look, here they are. They're a couple. And we just learn it because they're acting like a couple and call each other pet names.
Absolutely.
Discovery, I thought, did it good with the doctor and the engineer.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It was a thing on board ship. It was just later in the series, it just became a little like the writers didn't know how to handle presenting it. And it's like they didn't include people that could have helped them present it and normalize it.
I don't know how cogent of this is to the conversation, but Garrick, when you look at the first few episodes, we understand what the writing staff had come up with for that character, but it looks like the executives of Suits were like, no. They figured it out because, oh my goodness, the actor, he said, you realize what I was supposed to be, right? And he leaves it at that. So it was kind of interesting because the way he and Bashir, yeah, right. I see you nodding, Don, right? I mean, looking back, yeah, it was supposed to be a different. Before,
it wasn't just a romance.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a romance, I guess.
Well, you had the ladies' man, the doctor, and then this sly, cunning gentleman, this dark and mysterious, coming in and spending a lot of time with the ladies' man. Yeah. No, we know. Yeah, we know where it was going. We're supposed to go.
I guess the Suits weren't ready to make that jump back then. America wasn't ready, allegedly.
But I mean, he still portrayed the character flamboyantly. I mean, it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
We didn't need, like with the other show we talk about, we didn't need to see it. I mean, if the Suits didn't want to show it,
See, sometimes in Star Trek, though, flamboyant characters are mistaken because flamboyancy could just be part of the alien nature of the character.
Yeah.
or be
So
misread
you can't just
as
assume.
or be misread as flamboyant. But I mean, I don't think Robinson played him over the top.
No, he
No,
did not.
absolutely not. I couldn't dream of seeing that character played any other way.
Gosh.
No, I know. In fact, when I was reading the book, it's like I was hearing it in Andrew Robinson's voice.
Well, we've seen it portrayed a different way in the Mirror episodes.
Yes.
That's not how I would have wanted my Garrick to be.
I hated Deep Space Nine's Mirror episode.
Wasn't he the same in the Mirror episodes? Didn't he have like a bondage kink fetish with Worf?
I don't remember that. I
don't
just
remember
like
that.
the whole Kira.
I'm pretty sure he
thing.
did. He was. On, like,
I thought it was
chain.
with Kira.
Oh,
No. It was definitely with Worf. It was.
Oh, no, he was
that-
trying
I've just
to
listened to like one of the
Kira.
Delta Fly episodes about it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no,
they were talking about it.
That was the second. That was the second one. He was Worf's little pet because he betrayed.
Oh yes.
He betrayed
Yeah.
the Regent. Yeah, he was a prisoner. He was a slave. He was not.
Maybe I never saw that one.
Were there two?
I
Or were
just
there
liked
three?
the first Mirror episode so much.
There
I
were-
probably didn't
There were like
even watch
5.
it.
Yeah.
Oh
There were
my!
lots.
Yeah, and you know that I had a conversation with Michael some years ago that's what annoyed me about the alternate universe. It was clearly established in Mirror that it was that perfect moment that two universes collided exactly, and we had that change, and they crossed over into a mirror universe, not the mirror universe, but a mirror universe. And DS9 made it the mirror universe. I know it's subtle. I didn't like that aspect of it. And Michael listened to me for about 7 minutes and probably said, "Where are we going for lunch?"
Well, I do like the way that Discovery tied that up too, though. How they explained how these two universes, what we call the mirror universes, ran in parallel sync for so long that, and then they finally started drifting apart to where they were so far apart that you couldn't easily cross over. I did like how Discovery tied that up. That was good thinking. But then there's the other part of me, the temporal investigations side, that says that you shouldn't be able to cross over into that mirror universe anyway if we're taking the parallel or the parallel timelines thinking of things, because the parallel universe would have just been a different set of decisions, and there's only one timeline in place at any given time, and you destroy every other one whenever you change decisions. There's two ways of thinking on time travel. Either when you change something, you destroy the old timeline, or every single decision branches out into a totally separate timeline that you can visit at any given point. I kind of like the branching theory better, but you know what?
It allows for more creative things like the Quantum Leap show, or what Next Generation did when they had all the Enterprises show up at the end of the series, and you know, the whole crazy stuff going on with Spider-Man and Marvel.
I hear you. Well,
so considering we're not even talking
right, I was about to say, I think we may have run its course. Any final thoughts that you want to say? And you can sum it up by yay or nay. I think we're doing yay or nay, right, on this one. Because, we're doing pints on the other one. So I guess it's thumbs up or thumbs down. I have to tell you that thank you, Greg. Okay. I am... Jadon, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm a positive. Aaron, yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael, yeah. He's I don't know what you schmoes saw. Mine's a positive. Don?
I'm going to elaborate a little bit, if you don't mind.
No,
So, I started out with a thumbs up on episode 1. My thumb went sideways on episode 2, stayed sideways on episode 3. I think if I was going to rate this episode on its own, it would be another sideways, but I think we've had so many sidewayses, I'm going to have to go down as an aggregate storyline.
Okay. Final question to all of you. Is this the Star Trek that we know from TOS, or is it the episodic stuff that we've been getting for the last few years? I'm just curious. Has the storyline, is this a Voyager type story, or is it a Discovery type story where we're going to get resolution at the end of the year? I'm curious from all of you, based on the first 4 episodes.
I think it's Discovery.
Yeah, the whole thing with Caleb and his mom, I think is going to be one of the serialized aspects of the show. But I think they are going to do. I mean, they are making it as episodic in some ways too, because this one didn't even have a previously on.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't have the War Academy either.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those this new hybrid where you have an overarching story arc that appears throughout the season at different points. They've done it with Discovery. They've done it with Picard. They've done it.
Heck, Next Generation.
Even Strange New Worlds, which was supposed to go back to serialized, did it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they did. I'm not disliking of that, but I think you got to pick a road. So I don't know. We'll see.
Aaron?
I mean, yeah, I think it is a hybrid. There are episodic, but there's an overarching theme. But I also don't think that's not new. Like, shows have been doing that for the last 15, 20 years. So, yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. Any announcements in the personal world, Greg?
Nope.
Aaron?
No.
I officially stated on your site that I want to see some French Klingon fusion. What it is, I don't know, but I'm hoping your creativity will answer that.
Take what Laura was asking for and try to,
I'm definitely going to add it to the list. The list is very long now, though. But
is it really?
I'm sure.
Yeah. That is cool. All right, fair enough. Don?
Maybe next week.
Okay. All right. Michael?
Not really. I've just got just had 2 cancellations for next week, which is no fun. But we do have a podcast on Monday with Ben Shreen, a vertical drama actor, and he's done a lot of other stuff too. So it should be fun.
For those that don't know, Rosalind Brinson, a very big part of this network for many years now. You may know her mother passed away this morning, yet NDB Media suffers another direct hit that hits the family very, very hard. And I feel that for these last 3-4 weeks, it has hit this family very hard. And we miss Roz. I miss her. Everyone does, and we hope you're able to get by, Roz. I know I got a message from you a little while ago, and I thank you. Your mom passes away, and you're asking me about her. I'm like, come on, woman, get your priorities straight. Worry about yours. And I don't mean to be a jerk by that. You guys know me. You know what I mean. I'm like, wow. I thank you, Roz.
Some people need the routine though to help.
Yeah.
So I know when my mom passed, it was like, I kept thinking about work stuff, and I wanted, didn't want, my absence to be an issue, but yet, you do need to focus on, making the arrangements and everything. It's the, but that normality is an anchor at the same time.
No, I hear you. And Greg, I never shared that with you. What you went through, and you still, when you could, you spent time with us. I never forgot that. I never told you personally. And yeah, we've all had some ugly stuff happen to us over the last little bit, but NDB Media as a whole, it sucks. I'm sorry. I have no other way of saying it. But we're moving forward. I myself move forward due to the strength of my co-hosts, the extended NDB Media co-hosts, our families, and sometimes that is all that we have, and it's kind of cool. I have to say that. I, on a personal note, have been flooded where I've not been able to respond, and it hit home this morning when someone explained to me how serious this situation is. And yeah, it's scary. So we'll see. But I thank everyone. And hey, we have Star Trek. And for the love of all that is whatever, I'm lucky it's tax season. I get to concentrate on that. I know, huh? Oh my goodness. Do I prefer to get my, the hammer on the nail or, slam it in the car door? Which one, right?
That's the first time I've heard somebody say, "Thank God for the IRS."
Oh, yeah. I actually cannot believe I did that. Sorry. I'm confused right now. Hey.
I get it. I have
Yeah.
another family member whose husband's a does that sort of thing. He does it. He's retired now, but he did it for like a university. He handled all of their. He made money off of doing the tech stuff too. So.
Yeah, well, that's why I retired early. So it's all good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, head on over to ndbmedia.net. A lot of stuff going on over there, and you see all the links that everyone has under their names. We thank you. We appreciate you. And in the spirit of cultures that may no longer exist, Yolantru and Kapla. And we'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.